As you could tell from the title of this video, yes, I'm here to make a critique of the Bleach series again, which will probably piss a lot of people off for some reason, but I'm going to do it anyways, since it's something I really want to talk about. Spoilers for the final arc of Bleach, a 1,000-Year Blood War arc, obviously, since I will be talking about why I disliked where Yoruichi's character went in terms of the end of the series, so what happens at the very end in the final arc. Specifically, let's go over what we know of Yoruichi's character from the show, and also why, as a young teen, I absolutely loved her character. I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first watched Bleach, one of the aspects I loved the most about the series was the fact there were so many badass women who could kick ass and were generally known for being strong, capable women in their field. Yoruichi was especially captivating, not only due to her general charisma and amazing English voice actor, but because of her being treated as someone to be taken seriously. She's a mentor to Ichigo, and she's equals in strength to Urahara, who is Ichigo's first sensei archetype character that we see in the show. Rukia was also technically Ichigo's first mentor figure when it came to fighting, but Urahara was the first person Ichigo defined himself and labeled as his master teacher, his first sensei. And Yoruichi is the second person that takes that spot. Even if Yoruichi was the second person to fill this role, she is the literal key to Ichigo's success in the Soul Society arc, and without her around pulling everyone together and keeping them on task, they probably would have all ended up dead or imprisoned far more quickly than they actually ended up lasting. So Yoruichi was very much the key to a high percentage of her success for the Soul Society mission, especially in terms of Ichigo's fight against Byakuya as the #1 proof of the fact that Yoruichi contributed so much to the Soul Society arc. Now, as I said, she is the key to everyone's success in the Soul Society arc. Without her, they would have been screwed. Yoruichi was girl bossing before any of these new shonen girlies, okay? We gotta put respect to her name. In basic terms, Yoruichi's character was written well. She held a high position as a person of authority, was presented as incredibly strong, and though she helped Urahara and the others as a team, she was still independent in how she handled situations. One could argue the fact she ends up naked when she transforms to be an excuse to sexualize Yoruichi's body, but in the case of her transformations, I didn't view the scenes as particularly hypersexual. If anything, the nonchalant way Yoruichi views her naked nature completely takes away any hint of lewdness that could be associated with the scene, and the reason for her being naked is logical. Unlike other fan service scenes that otherwise make zero logical sense than to please the male gaze, Yoruichi is a cat. Therefore, she transforms from a cat to a human, and her cat form isn't wearing any clothes. Of course, she would be naked. In Fruits Basket, a shoujo anime, is the same way. When the Zodiac members touch a person of opposite sex, they transform into their animal forms, and when it wears off, they're naked because they no longer fit into their clothes after they transform. This is standard procedure for any animal-related transformation. And so I don't see a problem in Kubo presenting Yoruichi in this manner. If she's so used to being a cat, of fucking course she doesn't care about clothes, because that's how animals are. And so Kubo stays true to the world building he's operating in by having Yoruichi legitimately be accustomed to the habits of being a cat. Because she stayed as a cat for so long, she wasn't quite used to being in her Soul Reaper body because she was disguised for so long. Also, it was generally amazing to have a female character so comfortable in her own skin that she doesn't feel an ounce of shame being naked in front of other people. Yoruichi as a person is very confident, which is another reason why she doesn't give a shit if when she transforms, someone sees her without any clothes. A woman's natural body isn't something to be ashamed about, which I appreciate Yoruichi's character presenting in terms of her argument in these scenes. She doesn't really have anything to be ashamed about, it's just her body, that's the way it is. And I do like the nonchalant way she treats the entire situation. I do think back in those days, the older Catwoman archetype was a lot bigger in shonen. Do you all remember Blair in Soul Eater? She was another purple-haired woman who transformed into a cat. But in Blair's case, she was a literal cat with magic. Let me know if there are any more recent shows that feature transforming Catwoman, because I think this trope might have been more common in the 2000s. This is just a side note for this video. I'm just wondering how popular this trope still is. It's also important to note Yoruichi is one of the few relevant and important dark-skinned characters in a shonen anime from the 2000s. As a Western audience member, I saw Yoruichi and Tosen as black characters within a show of primarily only Japanese characters, which made her inclusion as an important character to the plot a small step forward in terms of representation of black characters in anime, which is still generally not very frequent in most shows. Now, before people say Yoruichi is Japanese, I did preface the statement by saying for Western audiences, from my knowledge, North American viewers who want to see more diversity in their shows can see characters like Yoruichi and interpret them as black. And more importantly, mixed folks exist as well. It's possible that Yoruichi and Tosen are both Japanese and black. Like, I could see why some people might argue over Japanese only, but in terms of a Western audiences, when you watch this show and you're eager for more representation, I don't see the problem in seeing representation when there is an extreme lack of representation within these shows. So I don't really see a problem with it, and I just wanted to mention it here because I won't be diving into criticizing Bleach's depiction of race and how Yoruichi's power up could potentially be revealing how shows make caricatures of black people as an incredibly basic white girl. I don't think it's my place to speak over Bleach fans who are black and have their own opinion on Yoruichi's characterization. So for this video, I'm simply going to be analyzing Yoruichi's character through a critical feminist lens, I suppose, or like a critical gendered lens, and how Kubo personally ruined what I loved about Yoruichi's character previously. Now, to anyone in the comments beginning to type, who does this girl think she is to school Kubo on how to write his story? I'm gonna tell you this right now. Just click out of this video already. If you don't understand the concept of people watching a media and looking at it through a critical lens, I don't know what the hell to tell you. Have you ever read a book and written an essay on an argument you believe the author was conveying? I'm doing the exact same thing here. I consumed a series, digested it, and I formed my own personal argument based upon how women are often portrayed in popular media and critically examining the implications of the portrayal. At no point in this video am I claiming to be 100% correct or right. I'm just stating my personal interpretations and opinions on the final arc of Bleach, ruining Yoruichi's badass character that I had loved growing up when I first watched Bleach. And once again, this is my personal opinion, so if you don't like it, just click out of the video. Everyone was waiting for this moment. A power-up for Yoruichi. Any sort of power-up, because it's the final arc and we still don't know her Shikai or Bankai. Basically, we were all waiting eagerly at the edges of our seat for Yoruichi's power-up, though really we were all hoping for a Bankai reveal, but we get what we get, I guess. And what we got was complete shit. Because what is this? Seriously, what is this? Genuinely, how am I supposed to take this? Before you say, it's a gag, it's supposed to be funny, a joke. My question to you is, why the hell is the power-up we have been waiting the entire fucking series to see is treated like a joke? Why are other characters' bankais or power-ups taken seriously, but Yoruichi's power-up is a comedic gag? I think that's unfair and dumb. Sorry, like, something the fans have been waiting to see is treated like a joke, and it isn't even a funny joke. Like, as a teenager, I didn't laugh because I just thought it was super weird. Don't you find it odd that Kubo is treating a big power-up of a female character as a joke? Because I do. I think it's very odd and undeserved for Yoruichi's character. So let's start with the facts. What are the facts about what happens? She can't communicate with anyone since Urahara explains her ability for her. 2. Before Urahara activates the ability, Yoruichi explicitly said she didn't want to use it. So he basically did this without her consent, which makes things worse. 3. Urahara is the only one in control since he's the only person she listens to in this form. 4. The ability takes away her agency, literally. And 5, she is reduced to the cute cat girl archetype when she nuzzles into Urahara's lap. These are the facts that literally happen within the chapters that I'm talking about. When Yoruichi is in cat form during the Soul Society arc, she's poised and elegant, calm, and dignified. She doesn't lose any of her intellectual capabilities when she literally becomes a cat, but for some reason, when she becomes a cat here, she's incapable of making rational decisions or talking full sentences and only listens to Urahara. How does that make sense? Now you might say it's because her ability causes her Ryatsu to change such a large amount of times. Of course she won't act the same as her previous cat form, but where does the idea of Ryatsu equal personality? Like, how are they an equivalent? Why would changing your Ryatsu at a high speed reduce your language speaking abilities? Where is the correlation between the two? Especially when she could speak completely fine as a cat before. There isn't really an explanation to any of this. It's kind of just thrown at us and we're just supposed to take it as it is. Now I'm going to make a comparison to another series, Bungo Stray Dogs, because I think Yoruichi's power-up is greatly similar to Chuya's power-up in Bungo Stray Dogs, or what you can consider a power-up. It's just an element of his ability. Basically, I'm going to be comparing corruption, which is like an activated part of Chuya's ability, to Yoruichi's power-up. Now, Chuya's possession works completely on its own. The reason I love it is because not even Dazai can control what Chuya winds up doing in corruption state. It is an uncontrollable entity of an ability. So since Dazai isn't even able to control it, and Chuya is pretty much a wildcard when he activates the ability, the contrast between Yoruichi's power-up and Chuya's is that no one can control Chuya's ability. It's a complete wildcard. In Yoruichi's case, Urahara is the one in control, due to the fact that he's the one who activates it without Yoruichi's consent, which basically takes away Yoruichi's agency in having this power up, where if she activated on her own, it would have been so much more impactful and amazing for a character power up to occur. Because Urahara is so heavily involved and in control of the situation, it just ruins the moment we've all been waiting for Yoruichi to have up until this point, which pisses me off. Also, Chuya becomes more intimidating and scary with this ability, or more grotesque, similar to like zombie-like imagery. In contrast, Yoruichi is shown to beat the enemy up, but isn't shown to be intimidating after beating the enemy up. She nuzzles in Urahara's lap, so her intimidating aura in the previous panels doesn't leave a lasting impression and falls short for me. This is supposed to be Yoruichi's big moment, but it felt like Urahara took control of it and rendered any awesome moments showing Yoruichi's capabilities to now be suddenly accredited to Urahara as well. And unlike Chuya, Yoruichi isn't in control of when she activates this ability. Urahara is the one who activates it. The fact that a man is in control of her huge power-up ability that we've all been waiting for pisses me off, because in the anime and up until this point in the manga, Yoruichi has so much agency as a female character. She does what she wants and doesn't let other people constrain her in any way. Before this scene, I always saw her and Urahara's relationship as similar to Ichigo and Rukia, since they were partners in crime and equals in combat. It was never implied one of them was more strong than the other, but that they could keep up with each other perfectly. So this not only destroyed the awesome characterization of Yoruichi's character, but also left me feeling icky about Urahara and Yoruichi's relationship, which I previously cherished. TLDR, why is the character who previously was given scenes such as these is suddenly now reduced to becoming a comedic gag in her long-awaited final form? It is disappointing and frankly insulting to Yoruichi's previous character to do her this dirty, and I don't know why Kubo did this to my girl, nor will I forgive him for it. Yoruichi deserved better, and I'm tired of great characters being handled so sloppily. Let me know how you all felt reading these chapters when they first came out. Did you question Kubo's writing? Maybe you read it and didn't think anything of it in the moment. How do you feel now? I'd love to read your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video if you had enjoyed it, and I'll hear from y'all in my next video. Bye!